Welcome to Modern Skills in English. Today, we're talking about a feeling we all know. That moment when someone asks you a question and your mind is just empty.
It's the worst. My heart starts racing, everyone is looking at me, and my brain just shuts down. It feels like there's nothing in there. It's complete panic, and all I can think is, they think I'm an idiot. But what are you supposed to do? What can you possibly say when you have nothing to say?
That's the question we're going to explore. But maybe the goal isn't to find something to say.
What else is there? Silence? That's even worse.
Most students think the problem is they don't have the answer. They see it as a failure of knowledge.
Well, it is, isn't it? If I knew the answer, I wouldn't freeze.
That sounds logical, but the real problem isn't the empty space in your knowledge. It's the panic in your mind. We freeze because we believe we are supposed to have a perfect, instant answer. The pressure we put on ourselves is what shuts the brain down, not the question itself.
So you're saying the problem isn't that I don't know, but that I think I should know instantly.
Exactly. The game isn't about knowing everything. It's about handling the moment of not knowing.
Okay, but how do you do that?
We can start by challenging a very common belief that smart people answer questions quickly.
I definitely believe that. When my professor asks a question and one student answers in 2 seconds, I think, wow, they're brilliant.
We all do. We're trained to see speed as intelligence. But what does a fast answer often mean?
That they're smart?
Or it means they gave the first idea that came to mind. It might be simple. It might even be wrong. An instant answer is often an unconsidered answer. The pressure for speed stops us from thinking deeply.
So chasing speed is actually making it harder to think.
Yes. The alternative is to stop aiming for an instant answer and instead have an instant process. The goal isn't to find the right words immediately, but to give yourself the space to find them, to look thoughtful, not panicked, to seem completely in control and poised.
Poised. I don't feel poised. I feel like a deer in the headlights. My mind is just static.
Let's talk about that moment, the silence. What do you usually do in that silence?
I panic, and I try to fill it. I say or I start a sentence I can't finish. I just start talking, hoping an idea will show up halfway through.
Which makes you feel and sound less confident.
100%.
This is the second turning point. Most people believe silence in a conversation is a failure. It feels awkward and tense. We rush to fill it.
Because it is awkward. It feels like a spotlight.
But what if you owned the silence? What if you used it as a tool? Instead of filling it with you fill it with a specific phrase that buys you time. A phrase that signals thought, not confusion.
Like what?
Something simple. That's an interesting question. You can say it calmly. It does 2 things. First, it compliments the person who asked. Second, it gives you 3 to 5 seconds of quiet time to think. Your brain is no longer panicking. It's starting to work.
That's an interesting question. It sounds so simple, but saying that instead of feels completely different.
Another one is, let me think about that for a moment. It doesn't show weakness. It shows you respect the question enough to not give a careless answer. You are telling everyone, I am now thinking. It creates anticipation, not judgment. You are controlling the moment instead of the moment controlling you. You start to formulate an actual thought.
Okay, I see. So first, I stop trying to be fast. Second, I use a phrase to buy myself time to think. But what if I use my phrase, I take 5 seconds, and there's still nothing there? The panic comes right back.
This leads to the third and most important shift in thinking. We believe we must answer the exact question that was asked.
Again, yes, that's what you do when someone asks a question, you answer it.
It's what we're taught in school. A test has a question, you give the answer. But in life, in a meeting, in a conversation, it's more complex. Your first job isn't to answer. It's to make sure you understand. Your first response can be a clarifying question.
So I answer their question with my own question?
A simple, intelligent one. For example, if your boss asks, what are your thoughts on the new marketing plan, and your mind is blank, you can pause and then ask, when you say marketing plan, are you referring to the social media strategy or the overall budget?
Ah, so you're not avoiding the question. You're making it more specific, and you sound engaged, like you're already thinking about the details.
It shows you're a careful thinker. Or you could try to connect it to something you do know. You could say, I haven't had a chance to review the final plan yet, but it reminds me of the project we did last year. Is the approach similar? You aren't answering directly, but you are adding to the conversation. You are not a student in a test. You are a participant in a dialogue. Your goal is to be helpful and credible, not to be perfect.
This makes sense, but it still feels a little difficult. If this is true, why do so many smart, successful people still struggle with this? I've seen confident people freeze up. It feels like a strategy for beginners, but maybe not for high-pressure situations like a job interview.
That's a great point. Why does it still happen?
If I go into an interview and they ask, "What's your biggest weakness?" and I say, "That's an interesting question. Let me think about that." It feels like I'm just avoiding it. It might make me look weak, like I can't handle a direct question.
That's the perfect example. The fear is that these techniques sound like you're avoiding the question. But let's look closer. The goal is not to avoid, but to improve the quality of your answer.
How does that work in the interview?
The interviewer isn't testing your ability to answer in 1 second. They are testing your self-awareness. So when they ask, "What is your biggest weakness?" a bad answer is a fast, generic one. "Oh, I'm a perfectionist." Everyone says that. It's not credible, right? But imagine if you paused for a moment, just 2 or 3 seconds of quiet. Then you say, "I think my biggest area for growth is learning to delegate tasks more effectively. In my last role, I tended to take on too much myself because I wanted everything to be perfect." It's honest, it's specific, and that thoughtful pause at the beginning is what makes the answer feel genuine and not rehearsed. The silence made your answer stronger.
So the pause isn't a sign of panic. It's a sign of honesty. You're actually thinking.
Precisely. So the system isn't about tricking people. It's a simple process for your brain when it's under pressure. First, you acknowledge the question with a simple phrase. Second, you pause deliberately. Third, you clarify or connect the question to what you know. You learn to navigate the conversation instead of just trying to survive it.
Acknowledge, pause, clarify. It's like a little emergency plan. Instead of my brain shouting, "I don't know," I can just start the plan. Acknowledge, that's a great question. Pause, a few seconds of silence. Clarify, are you asking about X or Y? It feels like I can actually do that.
And over time, you find that you don't even need to ask the clarifying question. Just the first 2 steps, acknowledging and pausing, give your brain enough oxygen to find an initial thought. You start to sound more thoughtful and articulate in all your conversations, not just the stressful ones.
It's interesting. Just hearing this makes the memory of freezing up feel less terrifying. I always thought the goal was to become someone who never freezes.
And what does it feel like now?
The goal is just to have a better plan for when it happens. It will definitely happen again. But maybe next time I can navigate that moment instead of drowning in it. It's not about being perfect, just about being prepared.
The goal isn't to be an expert with all the answers. It's just to be a poised, credible person who thinks before they speak.
Which is what people wanted from me all along. They didn't want a fast answer. They wanted a good one, a thoughtful one.
And a thoughtful answer rarely comes in an instant. It needs a moment of silence to be born.
That blank moment, it's not an enemy. It's just space. Space to think. I never saw it that way before.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us for this conversation.
We hope it was useful. If there's another situation that makes you anxious or a topic you want to understand better, please let us know in the comments below. We'd love to hear from you.